Hey guys, in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at 10 things that players used to do in the early days of Grand Theft Auto Online that no one ever does now. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. As always, when we do types of videos like this, definitely get involved. Let me know what you think. What would you add or take away from my list? But with out of the way, let's jump into this and let's get it started. All right, at the number one spot today, collecting the most expensive vehicles as sort of a status symbol to express your wealth. So back in the early days, it was owning an Adder or a Z-Type. Like if you had an Adder, that was like the creme de la creme, the best of the best, because it was the most expensive thing you could buy in the game. And because of that, if you saw someone with an Adder, you'd say to yourself, that guy is rich. And that's really cool. So a lot of people would end up buying these vehicles to express the wealth they had. Sort of speaking of the Adder, another thing that for whatever reason all players did, and I don't know why, they always made them chrome and they put those ridiculous money sign rims on there. I don't know if it's because the money sign rims were new and it was like a fad, and if like the chrome paint job was just something fun to slap on there. But so many people did that, and it looked ridiculous to see this, Bugatti supercar rolling down the streets of Los Santos with the clown horn, the money rims, and the chrome paint job. That to me was just really funny. Now, also building off of the Adder, something you no longer see today is like the old school supercars, like the Cheetah, the Vaca, the Adder itself. I'd even throw the Entity in there as well. Like you never see people using those. And it's just because Rockstar have added so many supercars into the game that a lot of them have been outclassed, like the Cheetah, the Vaca, Adder, even the Entity to a degree. It's been completely outclassed. So that's probably a good reason why you don't see a lot of those vehicles on the road. But back in the early days of online, they were everywhere. And it's what you saw, like probably 40 to 50% of people driving in a lobby. Another thing that players did in the early days, they had Billionaire lobbies. So I don't know if you guys were around when the Billionaire lobbies existed, but they were insane. So a lot of times nowadays, you'll see if you go into a PC lobby, there'll be a couple of people asking for money drops or whatnot, and a modder will drop money bags. Imagine that times about 400. The entire lobby was just raining down money bags, green alien eggs that had money attached to them, and people would just pick them up. And this was before the days in which Rockstar had a real significant anti-cheater system software installed on the Xbox 360 and the PS3. And because those consoles were jailbroken, it was so easy to get, billions of dollars. I mean, you would literally go into, I'd say, every other session, and it would just be raining and falling money. And then everyone who got that money would just buy everything instantly in hopes that they'd be able to keep it. The Billionaire days didn't last for long, but it was so much fun. And it was cool to kind of have a sandbox mode of Grand Theft Auto Online where you didn't have to worry about the money you were spending. It was just see item, buy item. And that was kind of fun. Something else that players no longer do, we never see actual death matches and races on roads. Like death matches and races have taken to the craziest extremes now. We see them on the sky or floating platforms or, in crazy wacky tubes. You don't just see like a normal person doing a death match nowadays or a race on the road. We could even throw survival into that category as well. Like when's the last time you've done a survival mission? Like I think the answer for me has to be like 2013 or 2014. Like it's been that long. So no one does those anymore. Now, sort of building off of races, another thing, at least what I used to do back in the day, I would actually grind out races so that I could unlock new vehicle mods and colors. Now I don't have to do that, obviously, at the rank I'm at, but I remember back in the day, you would need to win a certain amount of races or participate in a certain number of races, and that's the only way you could get some options unlocked at the Los Santos custom shop. So you basically had to do those. Another thing you never see players doing anymore, and this is because Rockstar has kind of changed it, grinding contact missions. I remember back in the day, the early days, I would do, Hey No Bronca. Missions like Rooftop Rumble, I would just grind and repeat over and over and over again, because back in those days, you could put them in a playlist, you could repeat them after they were done, and it was much easier, and the payouts were a lot higher. Rockstar did not nerf them at the time. So it was a great way to make money, and you could essentially do them over and over and over again. Another thing that players seemed to do, at least in the initial launch of online in the early days, they did all the sports, whether it was like parachuting or tennis or golf or darts or arm wrestling. Like, again, I don't remember the last time I've ever done arm wrestling in online. It's probably been like 3 or 4 years since I did a thing of tennis. It's just everything is so slow. It takes way too long, in my opinion. But that was something that players did back in the day. I sort of joked, but GTA 5 was sort of like a retirement simulator. And I guess people wanted to try that in Grand Theft Auto Online as well. Another thing that I did, at least in the early days, that I don't do now, and some of this is because Rockstar has added these vehicles to the website, looking for rare vehicles. I remember there were so many vehicles that you could find in the world that were not available on the website. I mean, a lot of my most popular early GTA 5 videos were like how to find the Phoenix or how to find this rare car in online that doesn't spawn on the website. And to a degree, some of those cars still cannot be found on the in-game websites, but a lot of them can, or they spawn more frequently now. And it was really cool because if you brought one of those cars to a car show or you just had them out in the world, people would know, whoa, he had to find that vehicle. It wasn't something he could just buy online. You guys might not remember this because it was only around for a couple days, but you used to be able to send money to other people. So I think there's a way in which you can send small amounts of money to people if you like play on the same job together and then you go back to free roam. But in like the first couple of days of Grand Theft Auto Online, you could legitimately take your entire bank account and move it to someone else's. I mean, it was just so easy. And Rockstar eventually figured out that that was not a great idea. That led to some serious money glitches. So they eventually ended up taking that away. Now, at the same time, they also have removed a lot of the cooler glitches in the game, whether it's, you know, jump spots or crazy glitches that makes your character do something wacky. They've patched a lot of those that you were able to take advantage of in the early days as well. I think we can all agree with this one. Robbing stores in the early days was something we all did for a ton of money because it was actually a good way to make quick cash that you could do in free roam. And unless you're completing like a daily objective or trying to go on like this Fast and Furious chase, I don't know anyone that goes around robbing stores anymore. It just doesn't seem like something that players ultimately do. I'm pretty sure you can skip this now, but back in the day, you had to do the tutorial. And the tutorial was super buggy because you were in like your own private world until you had to do like a race against other players, and then it had to find people for you to race against. It was a really broken experience, and it stunk on day one and on the early days when you had to complete the tutorial in order to get there first. So anyways, that right there is 10 or so things that players used to do in Grand Theft Auto Online in the early days that they now just no longer do. And I wanted to include a lot of the things on this list today that you could still do in the game. Like, for example, I didn't want to mention beer hats because obviously you can't hunt those. I didn't want to mention like the old free roam events because those are no longer in the game. So I wanted to include things that were still there for the most part. Obviously, like the Billionaire days are not coming back, even though we experience stuff like that, even on PC. But in case you guys are wondering why that stuff isn't there, well, that's why. But anyways, that's all the information I've got for you guys in this video today. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating on the video. That'd be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.